Notice the large number of Hindus at the tomb of Haji Malang Baba, a Sufi who had settled in Kalyan near Bombay. His closest disciple was a Hindu princess who is also buried within the Dargah complex. This shrine has been looked after by a Hindu family for generations and is a big devotional center for Maharashtrian Hindus. The Bhima Palli Dargah in Trivandrum, Kerala, also draws a large number of Hindus who have faith in Bhima Bivi, a woman saint. The big festival here is the Chandanakudam, a celebration inspired by local Hindu custom of offering sandalwood and coconuts. And this is the Shah Sharif Dargah in Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, which has links to the family of Shivaji. Shivaji's father was named Shahji and his uncle Sharfoji after the saint's name, Shah Sharif. The sands of Rajasthan have the imprint of some of the greatest Sufis. Many of the early Sufis came from Iran and Arabia over the northwest passes and settled in Sindh and Rajasthan. They were able to win over people in an alien land because they were men of exceptional piety. They proclaimed and practiced the equality of all believers, embracing all converts, even those considered outcast by Hindu society. This is Ajmer Sharif, the biggest Sufi center in India. Perhaps the most exceptional of the early dervishes was Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti, who settled in Rajasthan in 1195. His tomb in Ajmer is undoubtedly the most famous dargah in the entire subcontinent. Moinuddin Chishti founded the Chishti order, which went on to become the most popular Sufi order in India. This order produced legendary saints like Nizamuddin Aulia and Baba Farid. Baba Farid is believed to have had great influence on Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh religion. The other important Sufi orders in India are the Soharwardi, Qadri and Naqshbandi. Despite small differences, all the orders stress the personal, individual quest for God and mystical union with the Almighty. Sufism is difficult to define as it has no dogma. It has never been confined within any particular framework, and although many Sufis set up khanqahs or monasteries, they never lost the freedom to live as they liked. Besides the main Sufi orders, many saints who won over people in a particular area were wandering dervishes or faqir.
हज़रत निज़ामुद्दीन औलिया की खानका दरिया जमुना के किनारे थी, जहाँ रोज़ाना हिंदू भाई पूजा करने के लिए, स्नान करने के लिए जाते थे। एक रोज़ हज़रत ने छत पर खड़े होकर यह मंजर देखा तो अमीर खुसरो से कहा, हर कौम रास्त राहे, दीन व क़िबला गाहे। हर कौम जो सीधे रास्ते पर हो, उसका एक धर्म होता है, एक तरीक़ा होता है, एक दीन होता है, क़िबला होता है। तो इस तरीके से इन्होंने आपस में प्यार मोहब्बत की एक ऐसी फ़िज़ा पैदा की, लिबास में, खाने में। अब ये देखिए कि अजमेर शरीफ की जो दरगाह है, वहाँ जो लंगर होता है, वहाँ 700 साल की मुद्दत में वहाँ के बर्तनों में गोश्त डालना तो बहुत दूर की बात है, कभी लहसुन प्याज भी नहीं डाला गया, इसलिए कि हर कौम, हर फ़िरक़े, हर अक़ीदे का आदमी वहाँ के लंगर को चख सके और खा सके और तबर्रुक और प्रसाद उसका ले सके।
The Sufis' use of music contributed in large measure towards their popularity in the subcontinent. Tansen, the greatest musician at the court of Emperor Akbar, is generally believed to have been a Hindu. He was deeply influenced by a Sufi, Sheikh Muhammad Ghaus. Muhammad Ghaus, for his part, was a Sanskrit scholar who wrote a landmark book on yoga. Tansen is buried next to Sheikh Muhammad's tomb in Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. Every year on Tansen's death anniversary, people crowd the complex. Hindu sing kirtans and devotional songs, while Muslims recite verses from the Quran. Both communities then proceed to the grave of Sheikh Muhammad to make offerings.
बिला तफरीक मजहब सब तुम्हारे दर पे हाजिर हैं। ये दर मस्जिद है, गुरुद्वारा है, गिरजा है, शिवाला है।
Tansen had another guru, Swami Haridas, a Hindu who founded the Dhrupad and Dhamar style of classical music. His tradition is kept alive today by the well-known Muslim classical singer Fahimuddin Dagar. Every year he sings at Swami Haridas's tomb in the holy city of Vrindavan.
Panigrahe pulukitam vapurisham bhushibhushitam jayate ankuriteva mano bhusmin yasmin bhasmavasheshopi.
Naham vipro nacha narapatirnapi vaishyo na shudro Naham varni nacha grihapatirno vanastho yadirva Kindu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamridavdhe
Bhojani tai gaura rathi syamoja Hori Krishna Hori Rama.
There is another legendary figure called Swami Haridas, a Muslim who joined the Vaishnava movement of the great Bhakti reformer of Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These paintings on the walls of his samadhi depict Haridas's close friendship with Chaitanya. Today, this Muslim is worshipped as a Hindu Vaishnava saint at his samadhi in Puri, Odisha. Throughout his life, he preached that there is no difference between Krishna and Allah.
তিনি এই মুসলমান কি সে খ্রিস্টান কি সে অমুক সে মেথর কি এ ব্রাহ্মণ তিনি বিচার করেন না যে তাকে ভজবে তিনি তার
These young girls are dancing to a bhajan praising Lord Jagannath, the presiding deity of Odisha. And do you know who wrote the bhajan? This was written by a 16th century Muslim known as Bhakt Sal Beg. The son of a Mughal officer, Sal Beg became a devotee of Lord Jagannath and composed thousands of devotional songs praising this deity.
ଜଗନ୍ନାଥଙ୍କୁ ଆମ୍ଭେ ଦର୍ଶନ
Though Salbeg lived in Puri, he could not enter the famous Jagannath temple because he was a Muslim. Legend has it that Lord Jagannath himself decided that he would halt outside Salbeg's home during the annual Rath Yatra, the largest chariot festival in the world. Even today, the Rath bearing the deity of Jagannath always halts outside Salbeg's home as a mark of respect to this Muslim devotee.
खुंटिया डाक देले पहंडी विजे कले खुंटिया डाक देले पहंडी विजे कले विजय कल प्रभु चापकु केणे घेनी जाउछ जगन्नाथंकु
मोर पखासिर ऊपर राखी हूँ मोर पखासिर ऊपर राखी हूँ.
This song in praise of Lord Krishna was written by a Muslim poet, Ras Khan. Ras Khan was born in Pehani, Uttar Pradesh, and his real name was Sayyid Ibrahim. Seldom have the pranks of Lord Krishna's childhood been portrayed with greater lyricism and devotion.
रखियो नजीर को तुम दो जग में आबरू आबरू से दो जग में आबरू आबरू.
There is hardly any Muslim poet who did not write adoringly of the sights and sounds of Hindustan. But there are few, Hindus or Muslims, who reached the lofty heights of Nazir Akbarabadi. He wrote about Hindu, Muslim and Sikh festivals with equal sense of fun. This poem describes Lord Krishna's dalliance with the gopis. This, then, is the portrait of Islam in the subcontinent, a practice of the faith within a totally Indian framework.
Lashman Ramas Inja Arbe Raman Pesare Lashmano Ramas Inja. asnaravam ma badea mastinja ar birama pisare lashmanurama sinja talola banara chashme badur talola banara chashme badur talola banara chashme badur beshto khoramo ferdaus mamud beshto khoramo ferdaus mamud Banaras rakase goftan ki chinas Banaras rakase goftan ki chinas Anozaz gange chinas bar jabinas Anozaz gange chinas bar jabinas
How can I ever leave Banaras? This holy city is the Kaaba for all. Every man here looks like the son of Ram and Lakshman. These verses were composed by Muslim poets, Ali Hazim from Persia and Delhi's very own Mirza Ghalib. Banaras, the ancient center of Hinduism and yet a symbol of Hindu-Muslim interaction, the very essence of the composite culture of the Indian subcontinent. It was largely the fusion of Sufism or Islamic mysticism and Bhakti, the Hindu devotional movement, that resulted in the evolution of India's unique composite culture. This culture still survives in various parts of India.
Zegangai sobo shama ina dardas Zegangai sobo shama ina dardas Talola banaras chashme badur Talola banaras chashme badur
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Today, India is home to over 100 million Muslims, the world's second largest Muslim population.
वतन यही तो है कि जहाँ से हमको प्यार मिले, मोहब्बत मिले और खुशगवार हमारी यादें हों उसमें। तो ये तो हमारा गांव, हमारा कस्बा है ही है हमारा वतन। फिर इसके अलावा इससे बढ़ के तो पूरा मुल्क हमारा वतन है।
It is impossible to stereotype the Muslims of India. If these colorfully clad gypsies of the Kutch desert in Gujarat are Muslims, so are these women of Hyderabad behind their burqa, veil or the hijab. The community of Meos and Manganiyars of Rajasthan are Muslims, and yet they recite religious ballads and sing songs praising Hindu heroes from the great epics Ramayana and Mahabharata. In the southernmost tip of India is Kerala. Here live the Mappila Muslims, who have a distinctive language and culture. In the northern extreme is the Muslim community in the Kashmir Valley. The eastern state of West Bengal also has a huge rural Muslim population with its own songs, its own literature. The only uniformity about Indian Muslims is their diversity. They speak in different languages. They belong to diverse cultural zones. It was the Sufis or Islamic mystics who settled in various parts of the country. They carried the message of Islam to the masses. They stressed the humane aspects of Islam, and their religious message was simple: belief in one God and equality of man. The message had great appeal for the caste-divided society. There are numerous instances of entire communities or villages coming under the influence of a particular saint and converting to Islam to escape what they thought was a more hierarchical system. The converts carried many of their old beliefs and superstitions into their new faith, and in this manner gave birth to a uniquely Indian Islam. Everywhere in India, the lifestyle of the Muslim bears the cultural stamp of the region where they live. The Sufi saints had much in common with Bhakti, the Hindu devotional movement. This movement stressed personal devotion to God and intense piety. It attempted to break the stranglehold of caste on the Hindu faith and made it accessible to all. Bhakti began in the south, but rapidly spread across India, largely through the wandering preachers and hymn singers of the medieval period.
The Sufis as Central Asian races, as Khurasanis, as Iraqis, as Egyptians even, as Mesopotamians, were here in India since time immemorial. After Islam, they came as Sufis. That's why they found it so easy to communicate to the people here. And once they found it so easy, they were aided and positively abetted by the Bhakts, both of them. So the Sufis and the Bhakts, they progressed together. They had almost a unified message. And that message was the unity, the essential unity, the universal unity, unity of human brotherhood, unity of this globe, unity of the Creator.
Hindus have always been drawn to the Sufis and their various cults. These men are singing at the memorial of Eknath, the greatest Bhakti saint poet of Maharashtra. Eknath is believed to have had great respect for Sheikh Muhammad, a Sufi who wrote many landmark works in the local language, Marathi. Many of the rituals and customs at the Sufi dargahs or mazars are clearly Hindu in origin and are not found anywhere else in the Muslim world. Even the custom of worshipping Sufi saints by giving them divine status and attributing magical powers to their tombs is alien to Islam and clearly inspired by Hindu devotionalism. Sufism was a liberal brand of Islam that respected the indigenous customs of India and incorporated many local festivals into the Sufi cults. Basant Panchami, the colorful harvest festival of India. One of the greatest Sufi saints was Hazrat Nizamuddin Auliya, whose tomb is in the capital, Delhi. During the saint's lifetime, Basant began to be celebrated at his dargah. Even today, during Basant Panchami, his followers wear yellow headbands and offer flowers at the saint's grave, while qawwalis celebrating Basant are sung at the dargah.
हिंदुस्तान की गंगा जमनी तहजीब, मुश्तरका तहजीब में जितना हिस्सा सूफियों का, ख़ास तौर से चिश्ती सिलसिले के सूफियों का है, शायद और किसी का भी नहीं है। हज़रत ख्वाजा मोइनुद्दीन चिश्ती अजमेरी की दरगाह में एक ऐसी बुनियाद कायम हुई थी इत्तेहाद और मोहब्बत की कि जो परकुलेट होकर जो सिलसिला ब सिलसिला तमाम हिंदुस्तान के खानकाहों में पहुंच गई और उसके बाद एक ऐसा सिलसिला कायम हुआ कि मोहब्बत और मिलाप की सूरत में बसंत का त्यौहार मनाया जाने लगा, होलियाँ कव्वाली में गाई जाने लगीं।
This is the dargah of one of the greatest Sufis of the Deccan, Khwaja Banda Nawaz Gesu Daraz. Today, the Urs celebration at his dargah in Gulbarga, Karnataka, does not begin without the participation of local Hindu families.